And what's happening, everyone? This is Jim from JCRC. We are back, a third video in the series, and working on the gearbox. It's been hell up to here, fighting stripped out screws the entire time, just getting roadblock after roadblock. But we're gonna fight through the diversity and just keep on trucking. So let's remove these guys real quick and clean out all this debris. Start throwing in some metal parts. Alright, well, we are not too far in before we hit another snag in the build here. This Allen set screw has to come out, because this last gear will not come off the shaft unless I do. Unless I take that Allen screw out and pull the drive shaft. So that guy has to come out. And I'm not sure how I'm going to go about doing that. Because like I said in the previous videos, I have the worst drill bits in the world, so I'm not going to be able to drill it out. I can probably try that Torx bit hammer trick, because I think the screw is the same size head, so I should be able to do that. But the trick is not to bend the shaft in the process. So this could get interesting. It's either that or I just leave that gear on there. But then that's going to be, you know, the only weak spot in the transmission. So I really don't know what I want to do with this, guys. I don't know what I want to do. I'm just getting roadblocked left and right by WLtoys here. Ah, man. What do we do? We'll find out when I come back. Well, alright guys, we are in the midst of putting this back together here. I don't know if you've been watching me the entire time or not. But some of these bearings are pretty rough looking in here. And I do have a brand new Boom Racing bearing set for a Vatera twin hammers. And my twin hammers came with sealed bearings, so I might use some of these on the inside of this gearbox right now. Just because I really don't want to take this thing apart in the future. So I think I'm going to go ahead and throw in some brand new bearings while we're at it. And we are back. I'm assembling the transmission here. Got a little option here. I could put this little spacer in on this side, which is the motor side, or the spur gear side, and lock it into high range. Or I can move it over here to the back side and lock it into low range. This spacer came off of my twin hammers. Or I could take that out, leave it so I can still shift it from high to low, and either come up with a servo on top for shifting it, which I don't currently have one, or possibly zip tie it forward or backward or whatever to lock it into one gear or another. This is kind of a permanent deal almost, so I don't know what I want to do with that. I think I might want to just leave it so that I can shift it if I want to, and then I'll just probably zip tie the shift fork forward and try to hold it into high gear. Like I said, I don't know if I want to put a shift servo on it or not. If I do put one on it, I'm probably going to have to steal it from my twin hammers. So I'm not too sure what I want to do about that, but we will see here in a minute. You know what? I'm just going to take that out, and I'm going to leave it so I can shift it still, because I kind of want that option. Alrighty, and we are back. Transmission is all put back together. I did go ahead and use the Vatera high and low gear here on the spur gear shaft. I replaced the WLtoys gears. I figured while I'm in here, I might as well replace everything. That way I know for sure. And replaced all the bearings as well, and put in some Boom Racing sealed bearings for Vatera twin hammers. So all we have to do now is just slap the other case half back on this guy and bolt her back down. Well, alright guys, we are still wrenching away. Transmission is all back together. I tore apart this end right here and replaced the pin that was in here with a chunk of Allen wrench. So I know that that guy's not going to break on me, or at least the pin's not going to break. The WLtoys pins, I know I've mentioned this before, are notoriously weak. So put a chunk of Allen wrench in there. As far as the drive shafts go, I'm unable to remove the WLtoy part, ball part there, from the drive shaft on either end, because the Allen wrench is just slipping. But since the set screws were stripped out on the other cups, I had to, beat on those set screws with a hammer and a Torx bit to get them out. So I put the Vatera twin hammer cups on the end of these balls here for the drive shaft. And they both have the Vatera pins in them as well, so I know that those will be okay. Not too sure about the WLtoy ball part here on the yoke, but at least the rest of it's going to be solid. So that's where we're sitting at right now. Here's the old Vatera parts that I just removed from either end of the drive shaft. Slightly rusty. And here are my leftover drive shaft bits right here that I won't be using. Here are 2 stripped out gears, and the rest of the stuff that is still good. All these gears, stock gears here, along with the shift fork and rod. And I even busted into my twin hammers stainless steel screw kit, and I added a couple stainless steel screws here on the back. Oh, not that one, but these three are all stainless. Didn't replace this one because I couldn't find one that was the right length. So, and the thread was still good on this one, so I just went ahead and used it. All right, so we are moving on. All right, we are back. This drive shaft is attached. 2 grub screws on this. I've got one on each side. Front drive shaft was attached already, but I have 2 grub screws in that as well. This little transmission piece right here, I had a little issue down here and broke some plastic off. So I had to, in order to get this even, I just kind of trimmed up the ends of the plastic, just kind of cut around the edges of it with a pair of wire cutters, and then put a nut in between there, a little lock nut in between there, just so I could try to get this somewhat even. So I'm not too sure how even that is, but it is close enough for my quality. And we are moving on to the motor. This guy right here. One step at a time, I guess, eh? Got an Allen wrench and some hardware here. And they were nice enough to throw in some double-sided tape. And looks like we got an ESC here. See here, ESC here. Alright, 3 motor wires. It's like a BEC. And our main positive and negative, which is gonna have to get removed because I don't run that style connector. I guess I could get an adapter, but I don't know, adapters draw current. You know, every time you put an adapter in the line or whatever, you're just drawing more current. So, I mean, ultimately, you're better off being 1-to-1, but with a battery connector, you can't do that. With a motor or something like that, you'd definitely be better off 1-to-1, just soldering the wire right to the motor. But here's where we are. We are looking at the Millennium VXL 3S. Sorry. Long day. VXL 3S. Seems to be a lot of cardboard in here. And here is our motor. Not too shabby, my first brushless. And I don't know what this is. That might be a speed controller mount, possibly. Because I see it has a little curved edge on it here, and that speed controller did have a curved edge on the back of it. Maybe not. I guess I'm going to have to refer to the instructions on this one. And we are back, and we got the motor all mounted up here. With a 31 tooth spur gear on, or a pinion gear. I counted the teeth on the spur. I believe it's a 70 tooth on here. And consulted my twin hammer manual for ratios and whatnot, and I could probably go larger than a 31, but 31 is all I have, so run the 31 on it. And it's time to get this bad boy installed back into the rig. And before we get to installing, figured we'd zoom in on this carnage here. Hopefully we can see some of where the gear is a little bit chewed up right along this edge here. So both of these guys are wiped out. Yeah, on a different note, I almost ran over my dog. She's sitting right behind me. It's about to throw away my parts. And since I'm replacing all of these screws, I figured I'd consult my Vatera manual so I can find out exactly what size everything is that I need to replace here. And we are back. I have the front suspension all reattached here. Had to use some stainless hardware for all that nonsense. And have the spur gear cover back on. Had to do a little custom drilling back here to clear that spur gear. Or not spur gear, but pinion gear, I should say. Sorry about that, guys. Pinion gear. Not a big deal. She's going to be in the water anyways. Alright, and we are back. Looking at the rear drive shaft here. That little set screw that's in there, I used 2 set screws, one on either side. One is about this big right here. Ran 2/3 of the way through. And the other one is one of, oops, sorry about that, is one of these smaller pins right here, or smaller grub screws, and that one is ran kind of sunk counter flush, or countersunk, or just, you know, flush with the shaft, or with the coupler, or whatever you want to call it. And so they're both hitting each other, coming to a complete stop. If I didn't put one on the other side, if I didn't have them opposing each other, then it would just screw in one side and right out the other. So there's nothing keeping it in place. So I had to screw one in 2/3 of the way and then put another one in from the other direction for a stopper. Alright, so our drive shaft's reattached. Last thing to do here is throw our electronics back in it and wire everything up and dial in that speed controller. I'm also going to probably run a zip tie around this, the shift lever, to keep it held in high gear. So let me get I'm going to try to find some zip ties for that and start working on the electronics. And we're getting pretty close to 23 minutes again. I can run the videos, I think, a little bit longer than 23 minutes, but 23 minutes is kind of a good time. So as far as uploading videos, at least with me anyways, and my upload method, 23 minutes loads up pretty quick. Any more than that starts taking more time. So we're going to end the video right here, guys, and when we come back, I'll be throwing the electronics in it, slapping the body back on it, and calling it good. So thanks for watching, guys. This is the end of part 3, and we will be continuing here shortly. It's 10:44 currently on Sunday evening. Been working on this guy all day. A lot of roadblocks with the WLtoys today. So bear with me, guys. Bear with me, and we'll be right back. Thanks again. We'll see y'all.